Hello, so in this quick tutorial, I'm going to walk you through all the steps that I take when I draw an illustration of an avatar. So the first thing that I did is made some sketches by hand, and I make these on Wacom, I don't know how to say it, on Photoshop. So first thing that I'm going to do is place those sketches that I saved as a JPEG. So I'm going to save those sketches over here. That's cool, and I'm going to select one of these to start illustrating and vectorizing it. So I'm going to go with this one, the one with the ponytail. So first thing I do is put a square on top of her. That way I can just create a mask. So select both, press Command 7, and then I create a mask of it. And the image is still, if you see, it's still back there. If I double click, can see the image in there, but I just created a mask because that's all I need. And something else that I want to do is I don't want to be bound to this artboard. I just want the full canvas. So I'm going to press Command Shift H, and that turns everything into your canvas. It's like there are no artboards. So, and then next thing that I want to do is, since I'm going to draw on top of the sketch, I'm going to change the opacity of it from 100% to 30%. That's around good for me to start putting stuff on top of it. And also I'm going to block it because I don't want to be able to click on it and know that I'm not selecting the image by accident. So there you go. I zoom in. I have all of this ready. And yeah, the first thing that you will notice is that a lot of these are basic shapes. So for example, her face could be a rounded rectangle. This could be a circle, probably a rounded rectangle too. This could be a rectangle with some corner radius, the same here. So the first thing I suppose is you have to identify the basic shapes that you need to create. So I'm going to start right away with the face. So right away I can create a rectangle of her face, and then obviously I'm going to change the stroke so it's not filled, and I'm going to actually select going to have my own color palette. So I have all of those colors here, so I can start. I'm going to change the color of that stroke, and then, and as you can see here in the corners, there are these little things, hotspots. I don't know what they call, but if I drag them, I can start creating a corner radius, and it's pretty cool because it keeps the corner radius depending on even if you transform the rectangle. So there you go. That's pretty good. That's pretty decent. That's kind of the effect that I wanted. I'm going to now create going to almost do the same thing for the ears. That's about it. Probably duplicate it over here. Oops, sorry. I'm going to duplicate it over here, probably around there. I can see that probably the face is a little bit bigger. I'm going to go to do that. And it doesn't have to be perfect right now. Later we're going to be able to center every element. So right now you just want to have the elements there. So then I'm going to press the L key, and that way I can get the oval, or I can just select it from over here, the ellipse tool, and I can create the eyes around there. Then another one around there. And as you can see, the sketch was pretty rough. I'm perfecting it, kind of perfecting it. And you don't have to follow the sketch to the point, you know. You just kind of create a new one. You are perfecting it here. So over here, for example, I have a rectangle, but on my sketch there's a little bit of a it's a nose, so there's an emptiness here. So what I could do is pretty much my trick that I do is, for example, I press plus, and now I have the plus. You can also select it here from the pen tool. You can add an anchor point, and then for example, here between these two nodes, I add a plus, and then I delete that, and now I have that empty path, that part that's deleted. So I do it that way, and I added a point because if I were to, for example, select this and delete it, then it deletes all of this. That's why I want that extra point there, that extra node, and so I'm going to do it right now. Sorry. So I add it right here, and I delete it, and now I keep those remaining points over here. I just deleted the newer one that I created. Okay, that's a cool trick. Now over here, I'm going to almost do the same. Around there's the mouth. So now I don't need to create a new one. I just select this one, I delete it, and I instantly have that. It's not perfect. It's not exactly what I wanted. So I'm going to actually create a rectangle and trim it down a little bit. So that rectangle, I go to my pathfinders and I say trim that thing. And now I get this. I didn't want the open mouth. So what I will do is I'm going to again add another node. I add one node there, delete it. There you go. That's more like it. going to I could probably reuse this curve over here, duplicate it, and I could probably reuse it for the eyebrows. Yeah, that could work, but let's do it from scratch. So again, do the ellipse tool, and it's probably going to be around there. There you go. And now a rectangle, I delete it around there. So I go to my Pathfinder, I say goodbye. I add one more point here, delete it, and I have my eyebrows. And probably the eyebrows, you don't want it to be perfectly here, so I add another point here, and then I delete this one. I select it with the A, and now it's perfect. I think that's about it. And then for the other one, I want to duplicate it, but you can see that this one, you want this side on the other side. So what I do is I go over here to my transform panel, and I say flip horizontal, and now it's on the other side. There you go. That's cool. So there you go. We have all the elements on our face, on the face of the avatar. Let's go ahead and start creating our hair. So for the hair, I can see that I could probably do a circle here, around there. Well, a rectangle, circle rectangle. That's not perfect, so I'm going to do this. There you go. So that's pretty good, actually. Yeah, so there you go. That this is going to be behind the face, but then there's also this hair on top of the face. So there are two things that you can do. You can keep the face intact, so you keep that rectangle, or you can and then add a layer on top of it that is this color, or you can cut it. You can probably cut the whole. For example, here I create with the pen tool. I create a shape. And so you can see right now it's pretty rough, but then I press Shift C, or if I go over here to my pen dialog, I anchor point tool, and now with this I actually can edit all the nodes. So I can, for example, this one is asymmetric, just linear, and if I drag I can turn it into a curve, or I can do that is directly on the path. So right here, that's it. That's about it. That's pretty good. I can edit it. I can perfect it. Let me zoom in so you can see what happened again. So I select the anchor point tool from over here, or just press Shift C, and then you get that tool. And then I can start dragging any path that is a vector path, and I can start creating a curve. I'm going to do it over here. I don't need to do that, but just for funsies. And not only that, but also you can control the nodes. For example, if I wanted to actually turn this into this here, I can do that. First is symmetric, and then if I start editing this, then it turns it into asymmetric Bezier tool. And then now I just press my A for direct selection tool, and I can start editing all of these. But when you are with the aid, with the direct selection tool, you cannot turn elements into different types of curves. That's why you need the anchor point tool. This doesn't move the anchor, just edits it, which comes pretty handy sometimes. So there you go. Press A again. I'm going to go Command Z and do it the other way again. So Shift C and drag. It's pretty easy. There you go. So that is one way to do it. One way again is if I just trim this shape. I go to my shapes and then boom, and that's it. Now my face is going to be it's trimmed, right? And it gives you the effect that there's hair on top of it. And you can just do that, but I kind of don't like doing that. I want to keep the face in the same. I don't know, if I want to move the hair, I want to move it freely later, and not be in the face that I move later. What I'm going to do is actually going to keep this layer, and we're going to edit it later once we start adding color and once we start editing our nodes. So for now, I'm going to keep it like that. I know it looks ugly, but don't worry, it's going to look better later. So now this one is kind of not a basic shape. This one we're going to have to use the pen tool and start putting nodes. So let's go ahead and do that. So first thing, I press P, or I select the pen tool over here, and I'm going to start over here, then I'm going to add a node here. If I start dragging, then it gives me a Bezier curve. And if I press Shift while I'm dragging, then it gives me this perfect 90 degrees tool. Bezier. So I'm going to I could add one here, could add one here, but I want to keep it as simple as possible. So one way to do it would be adding one here, and then adding one here, and right now I'm just adding points, and you're going to say, why? Are you crazy? The thing is, again, we're going to be using the anchor point tool. So press Shift C, or select it from over here, anchor point tool, and now I can actually edit all of these points. So I'm going to zoom in to see them in action. So I zoom in, and that's about it. I'm going to perfect it in a little bit. There you go. I'm going to do like keeping this, oops, sorry. So this to be symmetric, and around there you go. I could probably get rid of this node and just use a curve from here, but yeah, let's keep it like that for now. So, oops, sorry. So press A, and I kind of want to perfect that. Same over here, it's kind of too sharp, so I want to smooth it out. There you go. Oops, sorry. I press Command 0. There you go. So let's zoom in a little bit more. So I got this, move this a little bit, and you can get as perfect as you want. Again, this is you can take hours getting the perfect curve, but we're gonna leave it like that for now. So, okay, we got that, and then over here we have these this thing on the hair. I don't know how you call it. Please correct me. How do you even call this thing on the hair? Okay, scrunchie. Yeah, I think it's a scrunchie, right? Okay, I'm going to create a rectangle, and going to this rectangle. I'm going to rotate it a little bit. It's going to be around there, just to create the effect that is there. It's not as perfect. It's not exactly like the sketch, but it's okay. So press Command Shift C again. Sorry, Shift C, and then I can start editing this so it looks a little bit curved. I like it. I feel good about it. That's good. Okay, so now let's do the neck. The neck is pretty easy. Just a rectangle. Try to have a longer rectangle that is going to be behind the head, and then you can start editing this. And I made it long because if it was short, then you would get those curves behind the head, and you don't want that, so you want to be long. And obviously you can delete these nodes if you wanted to too. You can just like get rid of them. But I'm not gonna do that. I don't think it's necessary. Okay, now let's do the same with the body. The body, so you'll see, is pretty much also a rectangle. Then I'm going to do like this. And yeah, around there is good. I think I want it to be not as round. Around there, perfect. There you go. Okay, and then we have the M. I'm going to use the pen tool to draw the M. So I'm going to use this, and now I like that. So I'm just going to Command C, Command Shift V. So, oops, sorry, I didn't want to. So I copy this, and then I paste it. I paste it in place by pressing Command Shift V, and then I'm going to flip horizontal. But right now, look what happens. If I flip horizontal, it flips on the center. I think you just drag it. But one cool trick is that if instead of having this thing on the center, you put it on the side. And then you flip horizontal and automatically puts it on the other side. That's exactly what I wanted. And then I combine these two shapes. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Hold on. I think I select those two nodes by pressing A and then selecting them. And then I just join them. And now this is one single shape. Perfect. I have a perfect symmetric M. And then this thing, how are we going to make this? I think the easiest way to make this is probably having a circle that does this. I'm going to have a circle that does this. That's about it. That's good. I think that's good enough. Then I'm going to duplicate this one, and I'm going to transform it and flip it horizontal. And I'm going to put it around there. I'm going to select those two. I'm going to group them and then center it to this. This is going to be my key object. I align it to the center, and now I know it's perfect. So I'm going to duplicate this one. Oh, well, before duplicating it, I want to remove all the extra baggage that I don't need. So I'm going to go ahead and delete all of these nodes. So I select them, goodbye. Probably these two, I'm going to select them and get them a little bit closer. There you go. So now I have this. I'm going to Command C. I copy it and I paste it in place. So you think that nothing happened, but actually I have a duplicate of that. So I'm going to, this one, I'm going to bring it to the center. Sorry, to the front. So this one is on top of this. And now I can change the shape by cutting it. So now I have this, I have the t-shirt. Yay, cool. So now I have the body separated from the t-shirt. The t-shirt's over here. And okay, I think we have all of our shapes. That's pretty much it. Okay, let's leave this and let's duplicate all of this. Let's duplicate it next to it. Now we only have the vector parts. And we leave there the other ones just in case we need them later. Never erase. You have a full canvas of stuff. I'm kind of a hoarder with my vectors. If I ever need to go back, I'll go back. And over here, I feel like this is too, the neck looks a little bit too long, so I'm going to get it a little bit closer. There you go. So now I need to start painting this. So let's go ahead and do that. So the first thing that I want to do is going to paint her face and ears. So I'm going to change over here to fills, and these are going to be the color that I'm going to give her her face. I'm going to turn these behind the face because so Command and left bracket. Oops. Oh, I'm realizing that I didn't select this one. I'm sorry. There you go. So I'm going to select these two, and I'm going to group them, and I'm going to center them to the face. I'm using, to do this, again, I group these, and then I select this, and then I click again on the object that I want it to be the key object to align to. So I press again on it, and now this one, you see the stroke there, now this one is at the key object. So these ears are going to align to this one. So if I were to align to the vertical align, it will align to that, and the face doesn't move. If I had not done that, then it will try to find the center between them. So both shapes move if you see that, and I don't want that. I want to actually, okay, there you go. So I'm going to do this. This is my key, and I center it. Didn't really change a lot because it was already a little bit centered. I'm going to group these two, center to the face again. All these elements, I want to center them to the face. So I'm going to multi-select all of these, probably even all of these. And okay, let's go ahead and center them. There you go, it's centered. Probably this one doesn't need to be centered. There you go. Let's group the eyebrows. Again, everything seems in place. I'm going to also do the same for the hair. Just the back of the hair. The rest doesn't have to be symmetric. Sorry, aligned perfectly. I'm going to press F just to have more canvas. There you go. Okay, let's start painting the hair. So I'm going to select these two layers. I'm going to paint her hair blue because she's super cool. There you go. So there you go. Let's go ahead and change this to white, and it has to be behind the hair. So I'm pressing Command left bracket. Or I could just select these two and press Command Shift left bracket, and then both of them will go all the way to the bottom, to the back. Okay, so let's do the same with these. Command Shift left bracket, and I think we're good. Let's change the weight of the font of the stroke. So over here, they all have different strokes. So let's go ahead and change it to 4 pixels. That's about it. Probably it's too strong. Let's change it to 4 pixels, and then I'm going to transform it a little bit. So I don't want to scale corners, and yeah, I want to scale corners, but I don't want to scale the stroke. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. So the stroke is still 4 pixels, but it doesn't feel as heavy because in relation to the size of the avatar. So there you go. This one, as you can see, you don't want these lines there. So what you can do is, well, first thing, probably remove the lines, right? And then, but you still want this. So what I can do is duplicate this object. So Command C, Command Shift V to paste in place. And now this one, I'm going to apply the stroke with no fill. So this one has a stroke. I'm going to change it to 4 pixels, and it looks like it's the same, right? What did I do wrong? But as you can see, there are 2 elements, one with a stroke and one with the fill. To the one with a stroke, I'm going to actually edit it. So I'm going to double click on it, and then I'm going to remove the nodes that I don't want. So all of this, goodbye nodes. And it doesn't, as you can see, it doesn't have a fill, because if it did have a fill, then it will create this. You don't want this either. So this one is going to be just a stroke. There you go. Now it looks like if the face, and now if I wanted to change, you know what, later, I'm going to actually group these two. If I wanted later, you know what, I want the hair to be a little bit closer to the hair. Now I can do it really easily without editing the face, because the face, the head, the face, it's the same size. I didn't edit that. That's why I didn't want to cut the face before. So if I wanted to do this, that would be easy. And if I could just like change this, and now she's a little bit cooler. But no, let's leave it like that. I think I liked it like that. But yeah, that's why I didn't cut the face before. So right now, as you can see again, just repeating, sorry, these are two elements that I grouped. One that has a fill, this one, and one that has just a stroke. And that way you create that effect. Okay, so now I see that I don't want this stroke down here. So I'm going to add a plus here, and I'm going to delete it, and now I only have that. I'm going to change the color to this color. Let's put these two all the way to the back. Let's add skin color. Probably this one is going to be a darker color. Yeah, there you go. She has like a black t-shirt. And then the M, we can change the stroke to white. And to all of the strokes, select everything, and then change the stroke. Click on over here where it says stroke, and then change the cap and the corner to be rounded. And that way, you will have your really friendly caps. They're a little bit rounded and cuter. And I can see that I made a mistake here. So I press another cool thing about the power of Shift C, or about the anchor point tool, is that you press Shift C, and then you can just turn them back to just linear, you know. And or if I want to change it back, nope, but I don't want that. I made a mistake there, and I fixed it, which is awesome. Okay, right here, I don't want this, but for now I don't care because I'm going to put her inside a circle. So everything's looking nice. I think It's cool. Let's add some effects of hair. We're going to add some strokes here. I'm going to teach you how real quick. Okay, so we have our hair, and over here I can actually go ahead and duplicate this hair. I want to actually create, like, there's a couple of lines more here. So I'm pressing A and I'm removing this node. I don't want this node, just want that. And I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. And then I'm going to duplicate it again, make it a little bit smaller. And there you go, creates a nice effect, like lines of the hair. So again, I just duplicated this one and I deleted that node, and then I just like move them around. There you go. Now I want to add a highlight. And you know what? No, actually I want to add another stroke like this. So for that, I'm going to actually use a pen tool. And I'm going to create I'm going to just put 2 points here, and then press A, and I can start editing. And now I'm going to put it over here. Press Shift C, and move this around so it snaps there. There you go. It looks, and I want it to be here. I don't know if hair actually looks like that, but I like it. I like drawing it like that. It doesn't have to be too realistic. There you go. It's looking good. Probably we want to have another stroke here, just so it looks more flowy and natural. So let's go ahead again. I'm going to add 2 points over here. Press Shift C and start doing that. I'm going to put this so the lines, it snaps to that, and then it's kind of hard to see the actual guides because they're kind of the same color. I don't know if I'm liking it. I don't know if I'm loving it, actually. I don't know what to do. I'm going to leave it for now. We can decide later. You know what? Actually, that's probably too long. That's probably it. I'm going to delete this node. There you go. That looks a little bit better. And okay, I think it's starting to look good. Probably we want this to be color also. That color. Probably we want it to be blue. Yeah, bluish. That looks nice. Okay, so that looks good. And now what we want, oh, it actually looks like a little bit creepy. Let's do this. Let's remove the strokes. There you go. That looks better. Okay, so now we want to add some shading and some lights. So it's gonna be a little tricky, but not too difficult. Once you get the gist of it, you're gonna be like, oh, this is easy. So first thing is probably this one already. There are 2 ways that you can do this. One way that you can do this is by adding another layer that has a shade on top of this, and we are totally going to do that. So first thing is the hair. I'm going to add a shade to the hair, and the first thing that I do is actually duplicate. So before anything, the light, we're going to say that the light is coming from the top right. So over here, so your highlights are going to be here, 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 and your shadows are going to be the opposite. So here, 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 below the chin, here on the neck, and probably here too. So we can add some shading to the hair. So again, the light is coming from over here, on this direction. I'm going to create my own an arrow just so we remember where the light is coming from. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and do this. The first thing that I want to do is duplicate this little guy and move it. So I Alt Shift and drag, and then I create a duplicate of it. And what I want to do is I want to move it a little bit to the top. And now I know that this part is going to be my shade, this part. So what I do is Command C, Command Shift V, the one at the back. I put this one all the way to the top, and then I cut this part. So I go to my Pathfinder and cut it. And it looks awful right now, but hold on. I'm going to remove the stroke, and I'm going to add, let's say that this color is going to be the shade in everything. So what I do here is I change the opacity to multiply. And this is actually not exactly what we're going to do. So now hold on. Let's opacity to normal, sorry. And then I'm going to change it back to blue, but then I'm going to change the shade. I'm going to change the color a little bit darker. There you go. And then I'm going to change the opacity, not to normal, but to darken. That means that if this color is darker, then it will be darker. But since this color is not darker than the stroke, then it doesn't do anything. So let's bring it down behind the hair. See that? Command Shift. There you go. It's a little bit, it's over the ear. We don't want that. So there you go. One more. That's pretty good. I really like that. Okay, cool. So now let's do the same for this part of the hair. So over here, I'm going to actually create a new layer. I'm going to do this. Sometimes it does tricky things, Adobe. So that's why I do it a little bit weird like this. I do my shapes like this, and then I edit them. I just added the points that I needed, and I know I'm going to need something around here, probably something around here. I'm going to need one more node around here. Oh man, I'm realizing that I'm dumb. I'm really dumb. There's a Okay, let me keep going, but I'm going to teach you a better way to do this actually later. Okay, so I can just drag this, and then let me change the opacity of this, and then drag this around there. And it's not perfect, but I know it's gonna do the trick. So it's actually, I press I, so I can copy the same color as this, the same effect, and then Command-Shift-C and start dragging this. I think that's about it. And then I bring it to the back. There you go. So now, perfect. That's perfect. Another way that I could have done that is if I had duplicated this element and I had just erased this part. You know, I could have just trimmed this part and then just edit this one. But I didn't do that. I did it the hard way, unnecessarily. But you learn the hard way. Sometimes it's better to learn the hard way, they say. So okay, so I'm going to do the chaining for her face. So what I do is duplicate the face, and I'm going to duplicate it towards the light. That way we now have this that is going to be the shade. So I adjust it right there. That's good. So again, Command-C, Command-V, and then this one we bring it all the way to the top, and then we cut it down, and now we remove the stroke, and then this color, the color of the skin, we make it a little bit darker. There you go. Then we change the opacity again to darken. This is not the best way to do it. This is just my way. So if you have a better way, I'll be happy to know how you do it. And you can share it on the comments. This is just the way that I do it. I know it's not perfect. Don't judge. There you go. So we'll do the same over here. Command-C, Command-V. Put this on the top. Now I have my shade, and I'm going to this one. I want to add another shade here. So I can do it by duplicating the face, and then Command-C, Command-V, I'm going to intersect these two. Now I have this and this, so I want to weld these two. I know, that's a lot of steps, so there you go. Now I have that, and I press the eyedropper to copy the same effect, and I move it back there, and now it's there. So again, what I did, let me give some steps back. So what I did is I duplicated this, and then I cut it to create that shape first. So and then what I did is I duplicated the face, and I moved it down a little bit, like around there, and then I intersected it with the neck, and now I had that shape here. And now that I had those two shapes, I just made a union between them, and I created that nice little shadow. Okay, cool. Now let's do the same over here. Let's just add the shadow around there. I think that's good. Let's Command-C, Command-V. Doesn't have to be perfect. As long as it gives the effect, you're good. So I want to actually turn these all the way to the top, and let's cut it down. Hopefully it works. Yeah, it worked. And then I press I for the eyedropper, copy the effect. I know this is still on top of this. It doesn't show because this color is darker than this. So, but I want to keep it good. So I'm going to select those two, and I'm going to bring them to the bottom. And now I cannot select that one, even though it's there. Okay, cool. This is looking good. I can see that this little guy over here is actually has to be a little bit. Oops, that's not what I wanted. I'm going to ungroup this, and this element has to be behind this because it's cutting down. I mean, it doesn't really need to be behind it. I can just move this node. Okay, that's perfect. That solves the problem. Okay, there you go. Let's add another shade here. I would love to have another shade there. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring the pen tool. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do my crazy shapes, as you know. And let's change the color to this, and then press Shift-C to bring the anchor point tool. And I'm going to do this. That's about it. I know when you add shades, it's not really pretty. Only when the nodes can become a little bit funky. At least mine. Probably it's a better way to do it. Oops, sorry. There you go. So let's bring it down. Let's bring this two all the way to the bottom. It's not perfect. I'm not liking that effect. Let's keep it like that for now. Okay, now let's add some highlights. So the highlights are going to be pretty easy. Well, not that easy, but kind of easy. So the first thing that you want to do, let's add some highlights here. So I'm going to Command-Shift, Command-V, and I'm going to go to Object, Path, and Offset Path. And then on Offset Path, you will see this dialog. Sorry, it was on the other screen. And I'm going to say that it's going to be -8 pixels. Let's preview it. And that's around it. So actually, no, I kind of want it around -6 pixels. That's about it. So it gives you a little bit of room between the stroke and the highlight. So I'm going to say yes. I'm going to delete this part. I don't want it anymore. And then I'm going to double click on this one. Sorry, hold on. First, I'm going to change the stroke to white. I'm going to change the fill to no fill. I'm going to double click on this, and I'm going to remove the nodes that I don't want. So I don't want this. I don't want this. There's no light coming from below. So, and for example, probably I don't think I want this either. So there you go. I don't think we want light here. All that can go away. And then I do want it, but I want it to stop around here, so I can just add a plus, add a node there, and delete this one. There you go. That's about it. That's good. And you can add some cool effects, like for example, over here you can add some extra nodes. And for example, that one I delete it, and now it creates like that cool effect. And let's do the same over here. Delete that one, and now I created that. Let's do the same over here. Going to add a couple. Delete these. Oops, sorry. There you go. Put one in the middle. Let me zoom in a little bit. It's kind of confusing sometimes when you add too many points. Okay, I want to delete that one. There you go. That's what I wanted. Cool. Looks like looks shiny. Now let's do the same here with her hair over here. So press go to object, path, offset path. It's already -6 pixels. I keep it. I'm going to turn this all the way to the top. I'm going to change it so it's the same as that with the eyedropper, and double click on it, and now, oops, sorry. Double click on it, and now I can, oh my God. Double click on it, and now I can edit it. So I'm going to remove all these nodes that I don't need. Goodbye, nodes. Goodbye. There you go. And then I'm going to add that cool effect that we're doing on the other one. So add a couple of nodes there. There you go. A couple of nodes here. Goodbye. And that's about it. It's pretty shiny hair. Let's do the same for her face. Dun, dun, dun. So go to object, path, offset path, -6 preview. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And let's change the so it looks like that. Double click on it. I'm going to add 1 point here, and yeah, that's about it. Oops, sorry. I'm going to select all these tools with the direct selection tool. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Apparently, to add a point there. There you go. Select all these, delete them, and now I have that. And I can create that effect again here. That should be good. There you go. It's pretty cool. Now let's add some shadow behind her hair. And that's going to be actually pretty easy. We just drag this element, and then we copy the color from this guy, and ready to go. I think we're pretty good. We are pretty cool. So let's actually add some shadow over here. So we can do that by going to double click on this because this is a group. Then I'm going to move this around there. I'm going to copy with the eyedropper the color of that one, and there you go. We got it. We got this. Okay, cool. So now we have it ready. Now let's put it inside a circle. Let's go ahead and do that. So, okay. So now we have our avatar ready. We want to put it inside a circle or mask. So it's going to be easy. I'm going to teach you how real quick. First thing that we want to do is group the different elements. So let's group the body and separate it from the face and the hair. So those two, this thing is a group, and this thing is a different group. So now create a circle with the L key, or I just select it over here, ellipse tool, and then I'm going to put it all the way to the bottom. I'm going to center it. You want to center it. There you go. I think that's going to be it. We want the face and the hair to be outside the circle. So the only thing that we're going to be masking is the body. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to put it all the way to the top. Select these two, the group and the mask, and then press Command 7, and then create a mask. You can also do it over here with object, and then where is it? Oh, man, where's the mask? text wrap. Clip and mask. There you go. I'm an idiot. Okay, as you can see, Command 7. That's the shortcut. So you see here, it deleted my circle, but if I double click on it and then I select the circle, now I can edit it and I can change the color of it. I want it to be probably let's do something like this, and then add a stroke. Let's add a blue stroke of. Let's make it 8 pixels just to make it super thick. There you go. Ooh, something happened. Made a mistake. You have to press enter. Remember to press enter. Press enter. And now let's put this all the way to the bottom, and we're pretty good. Actually, don't like that blue. Let's change it to this color. Don't like that either. Let's keep it blue. Whatever. There you go. Now wow, this is pretty cool, right? Let's select it. I could put it on a rectangle, so we have a cool background for it. So all the way to the top, back, and I can edit this. You want to center it. You want to center it to the mask. You don't want to center it to the whole object, because then it will center with the hair that is outside the center. So you want to visually center it with the mask. You will understand why. There you go. That's pretty cool. I think we're ready. We're ready to export it, put it on Dribbble, and get some likes. So there you go. There you have it. Let me zoom in. Pretty cool stuff.